Dismiss now playing album 5 blind rewind play button
Welcome
pause.
to Blind Abilities. I'm Jeff Thompson. Today in the studio, we got Joe Quirk. How are you doing, Joe?
Pretty good, Jeff. How are you?
I'm doing great. I want to thank you for taking the time to come on to Blind Abilities and talk to all the listeners.
Well, it's my second time on your show now. I'm becoming a celebrity on your podcast.
There you go. A regular.
A regular, yeah.
Pull up a chair right next to me here.
Right on.
Probably will. Hey, I want to thank you for serving the country in the armed forces.
Yeah, it was my pleasure, my honor. Yeah.
Afghanistan, Iraq, and you came back and enlisted in the National Guard.
Yeah, Air National Guard.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Quite an honor.
Mm-hmm.
You are visually impaired right now.
Yes, sir. Completely blind.
Completely blind.
Mm-hmm.
That happened later in life. You were an electrician from the service?
Yeah, I was a flight deck electrician in the Navy. And then when I got out of the Navy, enlisted in the Air National Guard, I was telecommunications. And yeah, I started my electronics background and got into electronics, and I loved it.
And that field all came to a sudden end one day when you were talking with a friend having a beer.
Yeah, it kind of worked out that way. Yeah, some person I never met before walked in and just started shooting. Killed my friend instantly, and I had just enough time to turn my head and say, "What the?" before I got shot too in the head. And for some reason, I'm still here. God gave me a second chance.
Second chance, and you're taking full advantage of that.
Oh, hell yeah.
You ended up at the VA Hines to get some blindness training.
Well, yeah, I learned how to be a blind person and, use the cane and do my laundry and cook food and, use the computer again. And they have woodworking. I had to learn how to do the ABCs in Braille. I learned how to do everything all over again. And I was only supposed to be there for like 6 weeks, and I ended up staying there for 5 months before I graduated.
You graduated in 5 months.
Yeah, well, you can't ask a newly blind person in a class area, what do you want to learn while you're here? Everything you got. Give it to me. 5 months later, I kind of felt like I was independent enough to take care of myself.
And what was it like to walk out of the doors there with the knowledge that you did have with blindness?
Well, as a grown man, I cried like a baby because I was proud of myself. I had achieved something. When I got shot, I thought my life was over. Don't give up. You can do it. That's what got me through all that stuff. And no matter how hard it got, I wanted to learn more. So I never gave up. And the support system at the school at Hines was amazing. The instructors were very supportive and motivational, and they won't let you fail either. If you don't get it, let's figure out a way to get it. I felt like I could do anything, and I am doing it. I'm doing things now that I never thought I'd ever do.
While you were there, you started a book.
Yeah, The Mogul.
The Mogul.
Hotel and Casino. Yeah, it's a short book, but it's a good read.
So you never wrote a book before you went blind?
No, when I was in 5th grade, I won first place in the Kern County Creative Writing Contest. I was just goofing around, and I wrote a short story about what my family means to me. It was like for Thanksgiving. I didn't know it was a contest. I thought it was just like, classwork. My teacher submitted all of our papers to the county, and the county sent me an invitation to say, "Hey, you won first prize in the creative writing." And I was like, "What?"
Oh, wow.
That's kind of when I first realized I had potential, I guess, but I never really pursued it. Growing up, I wrote poetry and that kind of stuff, and I wrote music because I play guitar, so I would try to write songs and stuff like that, but I never tried to write a book.
Sounds like you like to be creative.
Yeah, that's kind of who I am,
But going to the Hines, you're there, you're just starting to learn, and I believe it was on a Mac, you learned how to use a screen reader, and you decide, well, here's a good time to write a book.
It didn't start out that way. I was still learning the keyboard, memorizing where everything's at, trying to learn how to the command control to scroll around, and I had to learn how to open my email all over again and open up links and that kind of stuff. I learned how to do that. So one day I'm in Pages, and my instructor, I was just practicing. She was telling me, "All right, spell this. Okay, spell this. Okay, So I'm just typing, and then she said, "Hey Joe, I got to go for about 10 minutes. Why don't you just?" She's like, "Well, just." She's like, you're a creative guy. She said, you used to write music or something. She's like, well, just let your imagination go. I'll be back in 10 minutes. And then about 18 months later, I'm a published author. That's how it started.
And that's The Mogul.
Yeah, The Mogul Hotel and Casino. Yeah.
And where can people find that book?
It's everywhere. It's on. I try to get people to get if you have audio books or if you have iTunes, because I got to hire the voice actor. He did a really good job. he's not a monotone, boring kind of guy. He kind of acted it out even in some parts, and he kind of made it his own. Amazon, if you want a hard copy, you can go to Barnes & Noble. It's everywhere, anywhere you can get a book. And if they don't have it, they'll order it for you.
Audio, that goes a long ways.
Yeah.
You've also started doing gaming for the blind.
Well, I figured if I could write a book, maybe because I started playing games about a year after I became blind. I didn't think I'd ever play video games again, And after I finished my book, I said, well, I know our community's hungry for a good quality game. I said, well, if I could write a book, maybe I could write a game.
And we just did the last podcast where you did Circus Master Revenge.
Yeah, it's taken off, Jeff. Bigger than I ever thought it would be. I knew our community was big, the blind gaming community. I knew it was big, but I didn't know it was this big. And right now we've been downloaded in 79 different countries in the world.
Oh, wow.
That's ridiculous. I didn't know. Wow.
That's nearly half the countries.
I thought maybe after a year or something, we'd have 10 countries at the most, but not 79 in just a month.
That's amazing. Yes. I love that. And your company is called Mental Vision Games.
Yes, sir. Mental Vision.
So this was your first audio game that you put out?
My first game ever put out, yeah.
Wow.
I got lucky. There's a digital software company. They're named IndusNet, like Industry Network, IndusNet Technologies. And their gaming side, they've never done an accessible game before. And I've never created a game before. But they did one hell of a job. And it's our first time doing this. So there's some things that need to be tweaked out and worked out and fixed. But they're not really big issues. There's small things that can be fixed. But so far, the feedback from gamers are pretty positive. I figured, well, if people are hungry, they're going to eat if you make dinner. So I brought the dinner and they're eating, and I'm happy that I could do that for my community.
Yeah, that's Circus Master's Revenge. Check it out. It's available on iOS.
And someday it'll be on Google Play, but Google Play has different standards. For some reason, let us submit the game on the Google Play until it's finished. Because Apple lets us add on as we go. For some reason, Google doesn't like that. They said, no, we want a finished product. And then you can make changes to it after it's finished. But they don't want us to build and add on stuff.
You got a great voice actor on Circus Masters Revenge.
Yeah, Josh Alexander. Yeah.
Josh Alexander, yeah.
Everybody loves him.
Oh yeah, it just gets you right in there right away. You hear that voice and you just honker down.
Yeah.
I guess it's not your lucky day, blind puppy. I am the circus master, and this is our home.
I got lucky. I hunted for a good circus master voice. I sampled I think 7 or 8 different voice actors, and I finally found Josh, and I was like, this is the guy. Everybody loves him. So he's great. He's great. I'm happy. I got lucky with him.
So what inspired you to do audio games?
Well, my very first game I ever played as a blind person was Audio Defense by Something Else Games. That game was amazing. I didn't know there was games for blind people on even iOS or anywhere else. I didn't know, because you don't hear that kind of stuff, in the markets. You don't hear about, hey, there's this new game out for blind people. You don't hear that advertised. So one day I was just curious, and I went on the Safari or whatever and typed in blind video games, and then here it is. Audio Defense popped up, and I went to the App Store and checked it out, and I was like, what? Killing zombies? I said, well, I haven't killed zombies in a while. So I bought it and downloaded it and put headphones on, and I had to have somebody help me figure out how to get past the main menu because I didn't know how to play. So, and then it just blew my mind. I'm like, holy crap! This is it's like virtual reality. It was like, wow. After they got pulled off the App Store, is about right when I started writing my book. And then once my book was done, I said, well, I miss a game like Audio Defense. Maybe I should try to make something similar to it, at least the gameplay aspect of it. And Circus Master's Revenge was born.
So you start by doing the story in your head and putting it on the paper.
I figured everybody's tired of killing zombies. I said, I got to do something different.
Oh, so you got to go after the clowns.
Well, yeah. And I'm glad I did, because look at all the free marketing I'm getting from the movie It and Joker, so it's clown year, man.
Yeah, you started a trend.
Yeah, good time to be a clown.
So explain to the listeners how they play the game.
Well, it's a 3D audio immersive sound. You hold your phone flat, horizontally, like you're checking your email or something. You listen, aim, and shoot. So enemies are going to be coming at you from behind you or to the side of you or in front of you. And you have to turn your device towards the enemy. And there is a beacon that tells you that where the enemy's at. But I turn that off because I feel like I'm more accurate without it. But it's good. It's good for like having training wheels to kind of understand where everything's at, to get more spatial awareness of what's going on. Once you get good at figuring out where everything's at, then I have to turn it off because I'm more accurate without it. Not everybody can do that, but you touch the screen to shoot and you swipe left or right to melee weapon.
So a swivel chair would be a benefit.
Yeah, you can sit down in a swivel chair and use your legs to kind of rotate around, so you don't if you get dizzy, you don't fall down. But or if you get attacked, you don't fall down some stairs. It's a pretty fun game, and it's free to download. I gave it away for free, and there is some in-app purchases, but they're not necessary unless you get stuck. It's not pay to play. You don't have to go buy stuff. I beat Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 with just the pistol and the baseball bat, the weapons they give you in the very beginning. So you don't have to, but if you get stuck, it's an easy way to kind of give you some help.
And this isn't butterflies and unicorns so either. No, this is real stuff.
The circus master's not going to give you lollipops to kill his circus performers, even though it is a circus.
I'd like to say it's not all fun and games, but you've been having some fun. I just saw an article about you playing golf.
Yeah. Early September, they had a 5 days event, and I'd never been before. It's a Disabled Veterans Golf Tee Tournament in Iowa City, and I'd never been before, and it was an amazing experience. There was a lot of people there with different disabilities. I mean, there was people there in wheelchairs, and like people in wheelchairs playing golf. I was just shocked. There was people there who had missing limbs, prosthetics, playing golf. There was people there who were, visually impaired, of course, because I was there. There was also people there that had PTSD, even vets that had PTSD. So the Wounded Warrior Project Association or something, but the DAV's big supporter of it, and also the VA, the Veterans Administration, they're the ones that construct everything, to put everything together. The Blind Vets Association is also a part of that. And it's just amazing that all these different organizations come together to put on an event once a year for disabled vets to go have fun and hang out with their comrades and people that share the same struggles and experiences. We just have a blast. It was the most fun I've had in a long time.
Now, it started out with almost you not being able to go.
Yeah, my ride kind of fell through at the last minute, and I called the VA, the coordinator for the event, and I told I'm not going to be able to go. He said, well, if I can get you up here, would you still want to come? I said, sure. So I can't fly on an airplane because of my traumatic brain injury from being shot. So I'm not supposed to get above 10,000 feet or I can have an aneurysm, and I don't want to risk that. So I have to drive everywhere I go. And it's like a 5.5 hour drive from where I live to Iowa City. So, I said, sure. So he got a hold of the DAV, and the DAV, because there were some volunteers for the DAV that were going up there to volunteer, help vets play golf and stuff. And on their way through, they picked me up and I got to go.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they became like friends forever, like lifetime friends, It was fun.
So explain the process of you golfing.
Well, I played golf when I was in high school. I was on the golf team. And so I knew how to play golf, and I was okay. I wasn't that great at it. Probably couldn't make par to save my life half the time. But when I was at Hines, the BRC at Chicago, they take us out golfing once a week. Take us out golfing, go hit some balls and get to play like 3 or 4 holes. And then we go eat lunch and then we go back on the bus and go back to the VA. So, but yeah, they kind of taught me how to play golf as a blind person. So what you do is, first of all, you have to have somebody who knows what the heck a golf ball and a tee is. And how to drive a golf cart and what the difference is between an iron and a wood. To have somebody that knows how to play golf so they can line you up correctly so you're not hitting in the woods, kind of know what your swing looks like so they know how to line you up so you don't miss the ball. Mm-hmm. But what I like them to do is, if the golf ball's on the tee and I'm lined up and my club face is behind the tee, they take the ball and they tap like 3 or 4 times on the club face. That way I can kind of use a mental vision. And pinpoint where that's at. I can kind of focus on that one spot. They back off and say clear. And when I take that swing back, I focus right on that same point. And then I don't even, you don't pick your head up if you can't see the ball. You're not trying to see where it's going. But so I actually got to drive the ball on the last day on the tournament. I got to drive the ball, and I didn't believe the guy who was with us. He's like, Joe, I think you drove the ball like 180 yards. I was like, nuh-uh. Right on the fairway. I was like, nuh-uh. When we got to my ball, it was about 193 yards. He walked it out. Like, yeah, you're about 193 or so. I'm like, no, I couldn't hit the ball that far when I could see. I killed it,
So you'll do it again.
I even made an 8-foot putt.
Wow.
Now, how does a blind person make an 8-foot putt? And I'm like, I don't know. It just went in.
First of all, you show up, right?
Yeah, if you're going to win, you got to play to win until you make it.
So what advice would you give to someone who's newly blind, wants to achieve some goals?
Well, my only advice to anyone, not just to a disabled person, but anyone, if you have a passion, then you have a purpose. And as long as you have a purpose and the passion to back it up, nothing and nobody can tell you you're doing something wrong. As long as what you're doing is productive and not destructive, then you're on the right track. And it took me a long time to figure out what my purpose was or is. And I'm proud of my community, and I'm proud to stand with them and not in front of them or behind them. And if I have to use my gift to make a point to other game developers that there is a market here and we do deserve to be entertained, I'll do it. And if I become successful, well, I won't say that. I am successful because I've had more than 5 people download my video game. That's a good start. But if I had to say anything, just don't give up. Things get hard, things get difficult, things get stressful. But as long as you have a passion, then it'll all be worth it when you see the ending result. Mm-hmm. And failure should not be an option.
You know, I first met you when you're just about finishing up your Circus Masters Revenge game, and I thought,
the first part of it.
Finishing up the very beginning before it was out.
Yeah.
I was thinking, okay, here's this guy spending his time doing that. But then after I started reading more about you and hearing more about you, peeling the onion back, you know, looking at who is this guy? And, you know, you served in the armed forces, you electrician, you went through a very traumatic situation and you rebounded and you're starting to do things that you never thought you'd even do. And it's just another adventure and you're still you know?
Yeah. I'm a better me. I tell people that I'm a better version of myself than I was when I had sight, because I don't take things for granted anymore. When you're a sighted person and you have all your senses and you go through life so fast, everything has to be right now, you know, and with a disability, you have to learn how to be patient. And being patient also allows you to enjoy the moments you have. And I didn't have that before. It was always now, got to do it now, got to get this done, got to do that, got to run. You know, it's like you're a chicken with your head cut off. But now that I'm blind, I feel like I got my head back. I'm a chicken with a head now. I can enjoy my life. I enjoy life more. You know, I enjoy people more. I enjoy what I'm doing. I feel stronger as a person.
That's great. What can people expect more from Circus Masters Revenge?
Well, like you said, we just wrapped up chapter 3. The voice actor, he did his stuff, and Josh, he did an amazing job. But we just started, actually, my team just started with all getting the characters and the sounds and all this other stuff for the enemies and the weapon designing and all that stuff. Because I just tell them what I want, and this is what it's supposed to do, and they make it happen. So I'm the brainchild, and they're the wizards behind the curtain.
So what's it like for you to all of a sudden download it onto your, they'll probably give you a demo to put on your phone, and all of a sudden there you are taking something that was a thought bubble at one point. Yeah. And now it's reality. What was that like when you first sent it to the App Store?
Well, I got to play it quite a bit because I was there from the very first playable portion, the one I shared with Jesse, and he did a little sneak peek video on his YouTube channel, but every step of the way. So when I finally played it, once it was on the App Store, the finished product, I was like, wow, I did it.
And that's Jesse Anderson from Illegally Sighted. Yeah.
I called Jesse and I said, we did it, man. He said, no, I didn't do that. I said, shut up, Jesse. You helped a lot more than you think you did. And I said, thank you. I said, we did it, man. He's like, okay.
Teamwork.
Yeah, but I didn't mean we as in me and him. I mean, we as in our community. We did it. Not me.
That's great, because as we were talking before, you mentioned that there weren't too many games out there for the community.
Well, not action games. I mean, there's Blindfold series. They have a lot of, games like puzzles and card games and stuff, and they're fun to play, slot machines and stuff like that. I think they even have a dog game now, but you can't play those things every day. You need variety, right? And some people like action games, and if you're sitting at your cousin's house or your friend's house and they're sighted and they jump on the PlayStation or Xbox and they're playing like Call of Duty or something, and you're listening to what they're playing and you're like, man, I wish I could play something like that. Well, here it is, Circus Master Revenge. If I'm able to, once CMR is completed and we're done, if I'm able to afford to start a new game, I will. But if not, then I'll find something else to do. I'll find a different path. I'll still have my same passion and I'll still have the same purpose, but I'll have a different project. So
Keep moving forward.
We'll see. Hopefully, CMR is successful and I'm able to. I'm not going to use any of the money that I make off of the App Store. It's going to go to the development team to pay them, and then once CMR is done and making money, then it's going to hopefully I'll be able to roll it over to a new project, a new game, an even better one.
It sounds like you're always moving forward. You're going from one thing to the next and seeking out your passions. That's awesome.
If you're not moving forward, you might as well be 6 feet in the ground.
There you go. We've been talking to Joe Quirk, veteran from the Navy, National Guard, electrician, an author, and game developer. Joe, I really want to thank you for coming on The Blind Abilities and sharing your story, and thanks for the games.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Jeff, for what you do for our community. You introduce these amazing and wonderful people to our community that ordinarily we wouldn't know these people, for one thing, but we wouldn't know their accomplishments are inspirational to everyone else. So they're like, well, if that person can do that, maybe I can. So that's the message I want to share here. If I can do it, some newly blind guy who doesn't have a lot of money can make a game and get it on the App Store. So can anyone else. As long as you believe that you can do it, you can send me an email if you want to, and I'll try to help you, walk you through the process, and I'll give you to the contacts to IndusNet Technologies, and you guys can work it out. And if you have a dream to make an app or a video game, don't do it for yourself. You don't want to make a product just because you want it. You want to make a product because people in your community or people that need it or want it. There has to be a market for it before you make a product.
Joe, how can people get a hold of you?
I'm on Twitter, JFQuark3, and I have Mental Vision Games on Facebook and mentalvision, one word, .info@gmail.com if you want to email me. And I'm not giving you my phone number, so.
Well, no, we're going to have you trace your house key too.
Yeah, but yeah, that's how you guys can reach me if they want to. I'm pretty accessible to reach. I care enough to not blow people off. And if I don't know the answers, I'll find it for you, or I'll lead you to the right person. I'll say, call Jeff. He knows all kinds of stuff.
There you go. Well, thank you, Joe. It's been a pleasure having you on.
Oh, yeah. Well, hopefully I'll, in a year or so, I'll come back on with a new thing.
I'm sure you will. All
right, Jeff. Thanks for being a good friend, and thanks for what you're doing, because you're helping more people than you realize.
Yeah, thank you. And I'll edit this up and I'll put some sounds in here. I get to use some golf shots, don't I? and the ball going in the cup. I didn't want to say this on the air because I didn't want to make it too funny. But my first time going to the golf course, I said, how many blind people are going to be golfing with us? Because there's I think 3 different golf courses in Iowa City that they use because there's so many of us, and I think there's 35 or 40 people on each golf course. Yeah, so I was like, well, you got 20 or 30 blind people hitting golf balls at the same time. I said, what happens if somebody says 4? It's time. It's duck and cover, man. Duck and cover.
Duck and cover.
Golf Masters Revenge. I can see it coming.
There you go. Golf Masters Revenge. That's funny.
I guess it's not your lucky day, blind puppy. I am the circus master, and this is our home.
Mental Vision.
It's always great to have Joe Quirk on the show from Mental Vision Games. Be sure to go to the App Store and download Circus Master Revenge. You won't regret it. And remember, enable the blind abilities skill on your Amazon device just by saying enable blind abilities. A big shout out to Chi Chow for his beautiful music. You can follow Chi Chow on Twitter at @LChichow. Chi Chow, Chi Chow. And most of all, I want to thank you, the listener. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed. And until next time, bye-bye.
When we share
what we see
through each other's eyes, we can then begin to bridge the gap between
the limited expectations and the realities of blind abilities.
The realities of blind
abilities.
For more podcasts with a blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at blindabilities. Download our app from the App Store, Blind Abilities, that's 2 words, or send us an email at info@blindabilities.com. Thanks for listening.
Track position. 25. Dismiss now playing screen. Button. Rewind 1 minute. Pause. Button. Lock. Play. Settings.